And I remember looking around at these guys. One of them looked like a bodybuilder. You had professional athletes, you had collegiate swimmers, and just everybody across, real smart people. You know how you see some of them guys and you walk in and be like, he looks put together.
Navy SEALs are usually pictured as the ultimate tough guys, the ones charging through surf, jumping from aircraft, disappearing into the dark, and somehow staying calm while everything around them goes sideways. But the habits that shape them are not all movie trailer material. Some are brutally physical, some are almost boring. Some are weird enough to sound like something your overly intense gym friend would bring up at breakfast. Yet that is exactly why they stick. SEAL training burns certain behaviors into the body and mind until they stop feeling optional. Before we start, drop a comment below. Tell us which of these habits you think would be hardest to keep in your own life. Today, we're looking at 10 Navy SEAL habits that are impossible to unlearn. Making the bed.
If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right.
One of the most famous SEAL habits is also one of the simplest. Make the bed as soon as the day starts. It sounds almost too ordinary to matter, but in SEAL culture, ordinary things are often where discipline begins. The point is not really the mattress, the blanket, or the pillow. It's the standard. If the first task of the day is done carelessly, that attitude can spread into everything else. Admiral William H. McRaven made this idea famous when he explained that making the bed gives you a small win before the day gets complicated. It proves that details matter even when nobody is cheering. For a civilian, it's a simple reset button. You wake up, complete one thing correctly, and start the day with a little order instead of immediate chaos. Box breathing.
When you're box breathing, you're following a specific pattern of breathing. First, what I want you to do is I want you to breathe through your nose and your ears and fill your abdomen and lungs completely full of air. You want to breathe in for about 4 seconds. But once you have that belly and lungs full of air, you're going to hold your breath for 4 seconds, followed by an exhale out the mouth for 4 seconds, emptying out all the air in your abdomen and your lungs. And then when you have nothing left in the tank, you're going to hold your breath for 4 more seconds before going ahead and repeating the cycle.
Panic is a bad teammate. It makes the heart race, clouds judgment, and turns small problems into big ones. SEALs train to control that response before it controls them. Box breathing is one of the best known tools for this. You breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, then hold again for 4. That rhythm gives the mind something steady to follow. When stress starts to take over, the breath becomes an anchor. This is useful far beyond combat. A hard conversation, a tense meeting, a close call in traffic, or even a moment of anger can be handled better when the breath slows down first. The 40% rule.
Your body may say that it's giving out, and once you hit that zone there, then that's really where you're at about 40% of what you can actually do.
The 40% rule is one of the most repeated ideas connected to SEAL-style toughness. It says that when your mind tells you that you're finished, you may only be around 40% done. That doesn't mean ignoring injury or doing something reckless. It means the first voice that says quit is often trying to protect comfort, not survival. SEAL training forces candidates to meet that voice again and again. Cold water, heavy logs, endless runs, and sleep loss all test whether a person can keep moving after the mind starts begging for mercy. The habit is learning to question your first limit. Sometimes the next minute, the next rep, or the next step proves you had more left than you thought. Negative splits.
I don't just train like an hour or so. I train until something is uncomfortable.
Most people start fast and fade. SEAL training leans toward the opposite idea. Finish stronger than you started. In running, this is called a negative split. The second half is faster than the first. That requires patience early and discipline late. The reason it matters is simple. The hardest part of a mission is not always the beginning. Sometimes the real test comes when everyone is tired and still has to get home. As a habit, it teaches people not to spend everything too early. Save power for the end, because the end may be where the real work begins. Drown-proofing.
Air the water!
Drown-proofing sounds like something invented by someone who thinks regular swimming is too relaxing. Candidates may have their hands and feet bound, then must survive in deep water. The instinct is to panic. The body wants to thrash, fight, and gasp. That's exactly what burns energy and makes the situation worse. The strange lesson is that calm keeps you alive. Candidates learn to bob, breathe, and trust the rhythm instead of wrestling the water. It's one of the clearest SEAL lessons. The problem is bad, but panic makes it worse. Control yourself first, then deal with the situation. Cold conditioning.
If you're going to be wet all day, guess what else you're going to be? You're going to be cold. And if you're in a cold environment, going in and being wet is definitely something that's going to affect you. We actually do use dry suits that keep us dry as we go across. A wetsuit lets water in, and it creates a very small layer of water between you and the ocean that actually stays warm. A dry suit keeps you warm by keeping the water completely out, and you wear warmer clothes underneath it, but then you have a problem of dealing with a dry suit. I think one of the things that makes the SEALs good is we have to deal with that water element all the time. And so when we go out and perform missions where there's no water involved, it always feels a lot easier.
Cold water is a major part of SEAL training, and it does not care how motivated anyone feels that morning. It shocks the body instantly. That is why some SEALs and SEAL-inspired training routines lean into cold showers or cold exposure. The point is not to enjoy it. The point is to choose discomfort on purpose. When the cold hits, breathing gets harder and the mind starts complaining. Staying still, breathing through it, and not quitting becomes the lesson. Over time, cold conditioning teaches a person not to be shocked by discomfort. You may still hate the cold, but you stop being surprised by it. Chunking the challenge.
You want to make sure that you're not sacrificing quality to artificially inflate the number of reps when you're doing your general training. So when we're doing push-ups, we want to make sure that we go through the full range of motion. We want to go all the way down so that we're touching the ground and come all the way up so that the elbows are straight, and even protract the shoulders a little bit. Go for even a little bit more distance there. So that's the full range of motion.
Hell Week becomes almost impossible if someone thinks about the whole thing at once. Days of exhaustion, cold, sand, noise. The pressure can crush the mind before the body gives out. Successful candidates often survive by shrinking the challenge. They don't think about Friday. They think about the next meal, the next drill, or the next few minutes. That habit is sometimes called chunking or segmentation. It turns one giant nightmare into smaller pieces that can actually be handled. This works in normal life too. A massive project becomes 1 page. A hard day becomes 1 hour. A scary goal becomes the next right action. Fast eating.
From the moment the last person sits down, you've got 10 minutes to eat your food. So you know damn well I was making sure I was one of the first people in line so that I had the longest amount of time to eat. Because when that last person ass hits the chair, you have 10 minutes to eat your food. If you don't finish it, forks down, stand up, you're out.
Most people sit down to enjoy food. In SEAL training, food can become fuel with a stopwatch attached. Candidates may only have a few minutes to eat before the next evolution begins. That creates the habit of eating quickly, not because it's elegant, but because readiness matters. It can look strange to outsiders. The meal is not treated like a relaxing break. It's treated like refueling before the next demand. For civilians, this is not a health recommendation. Doctors usually prefer slower eating. But as a SEAL habit, it shows how deeply training reshapes ordinary behavior around speed and readiness. Visualization. Visualization is not daydreaming about success. It means walking through the plan, the route, the timing, and the possible problems before the real moment arrives. The value comes when something goes wrong. If the mind has already pictured a jammed weapon, a delay, bad visibility, or a changed plan, the surprise has less power. Athletes, surgeons, pilots, and performers use similar techniques. The body often performs better when the mind has already practiced the moment. Aggressive dental hygiene.
My job is to make sure that these active duty members are coming in every year for their periodic exam, for their checkups, and making sure that they are dentally healthy in order to deploy and continue on with their missions.
This one sounds funny until you think about it for 3 seconds. A toothache in the field is not a minor inconvenience. It can ruin focus, sleep, and performance. That is why oral care can become serious business. Brushing, flossing, and checking for problems are part of keeping the body mission ready. The larger habit is body maintenance. Feet, teeth, skin, hydration, and small injuries all matter because small problems can become big ones fast. In SEAL thinking, the body is equipment. If it breaks down from something preventable, That failure can affect more than one person. Now it's time to hear from you. Which of these Navy SEAL habits would be the hardest for you to unlearn once it became part of your daily routine? Let us know in the comments section below.